We had two situations recently that I find completely unacceptable, and many of you guys have written to me with similar queries about things that happen, so I'm going to get into a couple of those in this video. Just as a heads up, I also have a partner for this video, which is Incogni, but more about them a little bit later. So the first of these was when we took our dog, the Floof, the black belt Floof. She's linked in the description. She's got over 3,000 subscribers now, so head over and subscribe. We took her to the vet because, for those of you that don't know, she has trouble with her ears and allergies and so on. So we took her to the vet. Now, ordinarily, much like a pharmacy, you are required to confirm your address before they dispense medicine so that they're giving it to the right people. Now, this is where it sort of overlaps with a lot of what you guys have written in about, because very often you'll be in a crowded place and they ask you to confirm your address in earshot of everybody else. Now, I know from the fact that lots of you that write to me put your address at the bottom of an email, and you've got no problem in doing that. And you've got no problem me having your address. After all, you're writing to me. You don't mind me having your address and so on. Some people do, but many people don't. But if you're in a crowded place and you're being given certain kind of medication and you don't want anyone else knowing that you have that medication and where you live and so on, that is very strange when you are asked in a public place to confirm what is your address. Because what are you to do? Go over and whisper it in the ear of the person dispensing the medicine, or just say it in earshot of a room full of people, knowing that there might just be one nefarious person in the corner writing down your address who might be a bit of a stalker? It's all a bit weird. Now, this obviously overlaps with data protection and GDPR. Now, many of you have asked me the question, is that legal? Is that right? Now, from a strict legal standpoint, no, it isn't, because it is a technical breach of your data protection. Because they have to process, store your data securely, and they have to prevent it from being leaked to other parties. And if you're being required to say it in a crowded room in order to get your medicine, then I find that as a bit of a breach. But this happens up and down the country in probably every pharmacy. I hope that some of them have taken the proactive step to limit those breaches and get you to write it down, or I don't know, whatever, any other way than other than say it in a crowded place. Anyway, coming back to the Floof and the vet, it was even more bizarre than that, in that ordinarily they ask us to confirm the address, but on this occasion, as we walked in and asked for the medicine, they just called out our address. Now, on that occasion, there was no one else in the room, so no harm done. But what if that is done on every occasion when someone is in, particularly with a dog in mind, and animals get stolen? If someone took in a very lovely, handsome variety of animal that somebody else was minded to steal, and then they read out their address in front of those people, then they would know where the dog lives. For me, that is a security risk. It's a security breach. So it is a technical breach of data protection. And so we need something in place to prevent these things from happening. But this is so run-of-the-mill and so normal that it seems to be accepted practice. But it's not acceptable insofar as data protection legislation and GDPR, the UK retained version thereof, is concerned. So I find that all a bit bizarre. And that's not the only one. There was another very strange story with the bank, which I'm going to come back to in a minute, because this video lends itself perfectly to one of my partners, which is Incogni, which I mentioned earlier on. Now, before you skip ahead, this is absolutely relevant to this situation here, because companies gather and collect your personal information. They do that by web browsing. They do that when you sign up for catalogs, websites, all sorts of things. However they get your data, they gather it. And then there's a little checkbox at the bottom that says, do you mind us sharing this with someone else, and all these kind of things. They sell on your data to other parties. And then what happens is they package you up as a collection of bits of information, and they sell you on to other companies because they either want to market some stuff to you or whatever. That's at least the extent to which they'd be allowed to do so. But you're checking these boxes without reading the terms and conditions, because a lot of people don't read the terms and conditions, and it allows them to sell it on. But then what happens, it will get sold on again and again, and eventually, with enough information, somebody will be able to impersonate you with enough information that they can then apply for loans in your name and all sorts of other things, and impersonating you. That is a huge data security risk to you. And there are, believe it or not, hundreds of data brokers that gather up and collect bits of information about you in order to sell them on to other people. So what is Incogni, and how does that have anything to do with all of this? Well, data protection is at the very heart of Incogni's service. Incogni is a service that when you sign up, you create an account, you give them authorization to contact all of these data brokers in order to require that they delete your data from their servers in accordance with data protection legislation, both here in the UK and under relevant legislation in the United States. They will contact these data brokers and they will insist that your data is deleted from their system. You will then get regular updates as to how many requests have been sent, how many are in progress, and which ones have been completed, i.e. which companies have removed your data from their databases. That will prevent your data from falling into the wrong hands and being impersonated. As a partner to Incogni, I have a unique link which has been on screen the whole time, and you'll find it in the description below with the code BlackBeltBarrister at Incogni.com, which will give you a fantastic discount of 60%, which is exclusive to creators to provide you this discount for this service. It is a done-for-you service, and Incogni will require that these companies delete your data from their servers. So once again, the link's in the description below. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee if you change your mind, but that peace of mind knowing that your information has been removed from the internet is every penny worth it. So now let me tell you the other story, which was absolutely bizarre. Now, this starts with the premise that banks, and indeed me and people like me, barristers, will tell you, don't answer calls from people you don't know, don't respond to messages from people you don't know, don't give the codes in a text message to someone you don't know because they might be pretending to be your bank. So all of these things are best practice for avoiding being scammed. Now, there is a huge amount of people that are scammed every year out of significant sums of money by people pretending to be the bank. But this story really takes the biscuit. So we received a phone call last week and they said they were from the bank. Now, this was a phone call out of the blue, save that I was half expecting it because we filled out one of these so-called safeguarding forms where you tell them whether or not you do business with certain countries that they might have concerns over. We don't, but nonetheless, we filled the form in, so I kind of half expected a phone call to follow up to say, can you just clarify this or clarify that or whatever. So we received this phone call out of the blue. I knew on the balance of probabilities that it was most likely to be the bank, but I couldn't be certain. And so following my own advice, my own guidance, and the bank's own guidance and the bank's own advice, I said, I'm not confirming my company name. I'm not confirming my company postcode. I'm not confirming my name and date of birth and all this sort of stuff that they wanted from me on the phone because I don't know who they are. They said, we are the bank. I said, yeah, of course you are. Of course you'll say you're the bank. Even if you're genuine or whether you're a fraudster, you're going to say you're the bank. But how do I know? I said, you confirm to me that you have my account in front of you. You confirm the details. And they said, no, because of data protection, we can't confirm anything to you. And I said, well, for data protection and for the same reasons, I can't confirm that to you either. So we're in a stalemate. I wouldn't confirm to them. They wouldn't confirm to me. And they said, well, we can't continue the call, but we do need to speak to you. I said, fine. I said, put the questions in the secure section of the website or the banking app, so we know that we have a secure connection to the bank and we can answer those questions. I said, put the questions in there. We went round in circles for about 15 or 20 minutes on this stalemate because I just wasn't having it. Because I said, I am not confirming any details unless it's through the secure app. Now, lo and behold, and sure enough, a day or so later, we did get those questions through the app. We did respond to them. And as far as I'm concerned, that's that. But that tells me that it was indeed the bank. But it goes against all advice. It goes against all common sense that the bank would ring me. She even said at one point, I will send you a code to your phone and you can confirm it to me so that we can confirm who you are. But I said no, because that is precisely how these scams work. They ring you up pretending to be the bank. They send you a code to confirm who you are. But in doing so, they get access to your bank. And that's how they scam you out of money. I told the person on the phone this. I said, this is exactly how these scams work. If you are the bank, you wouldn't, or certainly shouldn't, be asking me to give you a code that I received by a text message. So I found that absolutely staggering, that this large, well-renowned bank, who I'm not going to name because it's not the point. The point is that it's ironic that they are using a technique that scammers use when it really was the bank. Now, because I know it was the bank, because the questions followed a bit, it said further to the phone call, here's the questions. And that was within the banking secure system. So we were 100% connected to the bank. So whenever you do things like this, make sure that you have logged into the bank's website, not one that looks like it, not just one that you've Googled and you've come up with a search result and gone in through there, or don't click on a text message link that you get because that can be spoofed and cloaked and hidden and that sort of thing as well. Go to the bank's own website. Make sure you type it in or you confirm that it is the correct one in the search results before you put any details in. And then when you log in, then you can see what questions they have or deal with whatever they need to deal with. But in this case, it was absolutely bizarre because they rang up out of the blue saying that they were the bank. And on balance, I think it was the bank because they did follow it up with the questions in the secure end of the website, but the same process used by the scammers. So I found that utterly bizarre. Let me know if you've had any situations just like that. I know lots of people do, and lots of people get scammed, and it's horrific. And I'm here to help prevent you being scammed one video at a time. So check out Incogni to get your data removed from these data brokers that are selling you on over and over again. Make sure you don't fall for scams like this. They're utterly ridiculous. Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe, and I'll see you next time.